Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys and Riding. Rob and I are down here with Randy, and we're taking a look at some of the cars in his collection. And along with Randy, we have Mike, who's done much of the restoration on the cars, including the one behind us. So Randy, what do we have behind us here?
This is a 1960 Chrysler 300F convertible, one of 248 originally made.
Wow, one of only 248.
That's right.
Okay, so Mike, you did all the restoration on this, correct?
Yeah, this car was actually a really nice California car to start out, so not what I'm used to working on. So
not a rust bucket, or
no, not a rust bucket.
Just a pile of dust.
Yep.
Okay, so Randy has a bunch of 300Cs. This is a 300F.
Yep.
So what's the difference?
The 60 each year has its own letter, and the 60 is the 300F. So
okay, so they were numbered by years.
Yep. 57 is the C. Yep. 58 is the D. 59 is the E, and then the F is 60. The G is 61.
Okay.
So
all right. So same car, different year.
Yep. Different year.
All right. What did this have for an engine?
This one has a 413 cubic inch with cross rams on it again with 2 4-barrels.
When you got the car, how long did it take you to restore back to this?
This one was again a 2-year process. So
okay.
yeah, the bodywork obviously on this one was way easier. I don't think
Since it was already in good shape.
Yeah, I don't think I touched a welder to the external body on this car. I mean, it was beautiful.
For you, that's pretty.
Yeah, yeah. Sadly, if this car, Mike disassembled it and started the restoration on it years ago. If this car had been left together, it would probably be in as nice a shape as the 300C that you saw, the low mileage car.
Okay. Wow.
It was a very nice original paint car, but they had stripped the doors, front fenders, trunk, and hood for it. So, and it was all in pieces. The interior was out.
So you put it all back together again.
Yep.
Now, would this have been an original color?
Yes. Yep. This was the Toreador red. I think they only offered 4 colors: black, white, terracotta, and then this Toreador. So.
Okay. So how much engine work did you have to do?
This one, yeah, the engine was the problem with this one, and transmission, so that is why Movie World did not use it in their films. They realized there was something wrong with the engine and it would have cost too much to fix it, so that was all in pieces as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been put back together. It's I think they're about 60 over to get to a 426, so you can get pistons for it and stuff. So it's now 426 cubic inch. So
well, it had a very nice ride to it, and it had a nice sound.
Thank you. This one's
as is accelerated. Let me tell you. Okay, on the interior, what did you have to do?
Yeah, just again we found just to find all the parts to get it back together again. Mike had taken it apart years ago, and he had several parts cars there, so we were able to round up stuff to do it.
Isn't that nice when you have that kind of little treasure trove?
Very nice.
When you're going through there.
Yeah, this is all recovered with Gary Gore's interior. I think this is actually one of the last sets that he did before he retired, and now Query Quality Automotive has bought them out. So.
Okay. Now I love the what do they call this? The toilet seat.
Toilet seat trunk. Yeah, the flight sweep deck or the toilet seat trunk is what they.
And the funny thing was there was no spare tire underneath there, right?
No, it's not actually a spare tire. Other people have said that to me too. You have a spare tire in the trunk. No, it's just fake.
So what about underneath the body? Anything you had to do there? Did you have to pull anything off and rust-proof it? Or
oh yeah, this thing's been all apart again, completely frame off,
mostly it was in parts and pieces when you got it.
Yes, yep. But this one again was super clean. I mean, blasted floor pan and then fixed dents. There was no such thing as rust to even weld on. So
interesting that in this year they had rubber back here.
Yep. Yep.
I'm used to seeing chrome back there.
In case somebody hits you at the gas station or whatever.
I love the I don't think they stick out.
Yeah, I know that's supposed to protect you.
Yeah, that's really no protection whatsoever. Yeah. I love the taillights.
Oh, the taillights are gorgeous on the 60. I think that's one of the best looking taillights there is. Boomerangs. Those are actually new old stock lenses too. Really tough stuff to get some of this stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure. And the chrome work was it you just have to. And the stainless steel on it, did you just brush, polish it up, or did you actually have to take some dents out? Or
oh yeah, this is like most of them. They still had issues. Yeah, the side trim. Actually, Mike had got NOS side trim, new old stock side pieces for it. It had a few dents in the originals, and these were much nicer to use, and he had collected a lot of nice stuff for the car, so it made the restoration pretty easy in comparison to some of the stuff I do.
Oh, okay. All right. Since it was a convertible, did you have to do anything to the top?
Yeah, the top is all brand new. Yep, top
Okay.
irons have been disassembled and painted, and everything is
And a new top.
everything
put on.
through
New
and through.
Vinyl.
Anything and every. This one has cloth, I think.
Oh, it's cloth top. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't. They should have a white vinyl. That is correct, I believe, for the car. And then this one has cloth, and it matches the interior, and it just makes the car look way better to me, anyways. And
Sure.
obviously to Randy too. So they should have offered that, I think, but they never did originally.
It's kind of fun when you can tinker with that, isn't it?
Well,
You
it
say,
makes the car.
It should have
look-
had this, so we're going to put it on.
Yeah, it should have. It's much prettier.
So, Mike, I just want to thank you. I'm going to switch over and talk to Randy now about owning the car and some of the other facts on it. But thank you for sharing your insight onto how you restored this. Once again, what is your business?
Yeah, Sweet All's Classic Car Restoration is the name of my business. So, and I said we're just a small-time restoration business, but able to give the proper attention to a car to make it as perfect as possible. So.
And you can check out our channel. We've got a number of Randy's cars here. All of them, if they had been redone, were redone by Mike. And absolutely incredible what he does. So I know you probably don't need more people calling you because your phones are ringing off the hook, but
Thank you.
we like to highlight it when we see it. So thanks a lot. Okay, so Randy, the rumor is that you're trying to get up through the different letters in the Chrysler series just to learn the alphabet. Was that true or not?
Well, that is partially true. Yeah, I had trouble mixing up those ABCs for a while. Yeah.
I tell you what, these 300s, and you were right. You said this before in other videos, but Chrysler had a engineering and a design team that was just really produced some really, really neat things.
I think so. It's just incredible cars. This whole series of letter cars that went from 55 to 65 are just an incredible piece of history that can't be ignored. It needs to be preserved because it's really something special.
And so we did another video where you had a car you restored from basically rust filings that someone had swept up off the floor and given to Mike, right?
Right.
And at that point you said, well, that car never should have lived anyway. So you did some different things to that one. But this is one of those you talked about that said you need to keep it original as possible.
When you get into Chrysler letter cars, they're all, as a whole, they're all so rare and so unusual that really well, I don't know what kind of word to use, but to modify them is really risky business. They really should, in my mind, be restored to as close to factory original as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one exception on this one being the tan colored top that you have.
I took that
match.
one liberty. Chrysler only offered black and white vinyl. And on this car, I really wanted the tan top to kind of match the interior, which I think is a really nice upgrade. But, of course, when the car got judged, I got...
You got knocked a few points.
Got gigged a few points. That's a pretty serious infraction.
Right. And you said, well, that's the way I like it.
That's the way I like it, and that's the way it's going to be. And so, but this car, I'm proud to say it was judged by the 300 Club International.
Okay.
And it scored 903 points out of a possible 1,000.
Wow.
Now, that may not sound so great, but that's not easy to do. The highest score any car in that club has ever got is 950. So, who knows? Maybe I could have been there if I wouldn't have changed the color of the top.
I love the tail fins up here.
Yes.
And what do you call these, boomerang lights?
Boomerang tail lights, yeah, and those
I
are
love
popular
those.
with the hot rodders and stuff, yeah.
Then your little backup lights back here. Then you got the, well, Continental Kid is what other cars kind of would have called. It's not, because it doesn't have the extended bumper, but...
Flight sweep deck lid, that's what Chrysler called it.
Light?
Flight sweep, like flying. Flight sweep, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And everyone else just calls it the toilet seat.
Well, that's the slang, yeah.
That's his lane. Okay, of course, you've got your emblems on the side here.
Yeah.
How much horsepower does the engine have?
That's 375 horse.
Okay. Now, this had one of those unusually beautifully crafted 300 series dashboards.
Right.
With the half dome.
Yes. They called it the AstraDome.
Well, that makes sense to me. That makes absolute sense when you're looking at it. Your transmission was how many speed?
That's a 3-speed TorqueFlite.
Okay, so it is original, even though it was apart when you got it.
Right.
Okay, it's been restored back to original. Okay, and how many gears you said?
3-speed.
3-speed. Okay, and that was a push button again.
Yes.
All right. So inside that huge bubble area, is that just your speedometer and your main gauges?
Yes, the gas gauge and the ammeter and the oil pressure and the engine temperature are all in that dome.
Okay.
And that is electroluminescent. So what that is a special kind of phosphorescent paint that those digits and things are painted with in there.
Okay.
And it's hit with a high voltage. There's a transformer up under the dash, and you run a high voltage through there, and the paint glows. And it was touted by Chrysler as to be easy on your eyes at night.
Okay.
Because there's no glare. There are no light bulbs in this dash. All the buttons light up, and the radio lights up, and the tack lights up. And but it's like I say, it's all electroluminescent.
So no actual bulbs. Oh man, that is interesting. So over on the far right of the steering wheel, you have another row of buttons that mimics the transmission buttons. What are those?
Well, those buttons on this car control the heat and airflow, fresh air from the outside, the blower motor, and if it was an air-conditioned car, then the air conditioning buttons would be there.
All right. So down below the climate control buttons, you got your AM radio.
Yes.
And it has some special feature with it. What was that?
It has a button on the floor that I can touch with my foot, and it'll scan radio stations. So say you're out in the country and drive down the highway and you lose your radio station you're listening to and you want to find a new one. You don't have to turn the dial. You just push this button on the floor with your foot, much like the dimmer switch, and the radio will start to scan and find another station for you. It's pretty cool.
Can you actually see the dial move?
Yeah, the knobs turn. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So it's got to be a motor that pulls it across and...
Exactly.
Oh,
Yep.
I was wondering how it did that.
And it stops when it finds a station. Yeah, it's the coolest thing. On the AstraDome itself, we have a switch here for the dome light, which since this is a convertible, it doesn't have a dome light. So the dome light switch really doesn't do anything. Here I have the antenna control. It's a power antenna. Turn it one way, antenna goes up. The other way, it goes down. Over on this side, there's a switch for the map light, which the map light currently is on because the map light is the same as
the door
when we open the doors, the light comes on.
Okay.
And then there's a switch here that says rear window for a rear window defogger. Or defroster, and since this is a convertible, we don't have a rear window defroster. But nonetheless, Chrysler put the same dome in every single car. In the middle of the dome is a light that's a indicator that your e-brake, your parking brake is on. So when we turn the car on, that'll light up, reminding me to take the emergency brake off.
Okay. And now down below here, you've got you got one here and then a couple down here. What are those?
Well, this is interesting too. This is the turn signal switch.
Really?
So, left and right.
Oh, interesting.
And instead of having the clicker handle.
Do they self-cancel?
And they do self-cancel when you go around the corner, just like any other one, yeah.
Okay.
There's a little electronic gadgetry in there that detects it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then down below that, of course, we have remote mirror control. Where and the top, power top.
Okay,
up and down.
Sure.
And then I've got a remote hood release.
Oh, in the dashboard.
In the dash, we pull
which is interesting for that year.
The hood for this year. That's very unusual.
All right. Now up on top of the radio, you have a Mirror-matic.
Mirror-matic was an automatic mirror dimmer at night, so when cars are approaching from behind and it glares in your eyes, a lot of them have like a switch.
Right,
you switch with your hand, day-night switch. Well, this does it automatically.
Oh man. Now, real quick, down below the radio, you've got RPM, I think?
Yeah, that's a tachometer, and it's a cable-driven tachometer.
Okay, and then you got your window switches?
Power switches, yeah. And then, of course, an ashtray and lighter, of course.
Of course.
Because, yeah, everybody has to have a lighter and an ashtray, naturally.
Yeah, I like how the rear center console and the front center console mimic each other very, very closely.
And they, of course, are an armrest, yeah.
Right, and you got storage. That is really neat. Plus, your swivel seats in here.
Swivel seats, 6-way power. And the fun thing about the 6-way power seat is that the driver only can control the power seat. And as the driver goes, so goes the passenger.
Yeah.
So if I want to go forward or back, the passenger is going forward and back too. They don't get any choice, as it should be.
That's too funny.
Captain of the ship rules.
There you go. So, Randy, fill us in on the whole story of finding this car.
Well, I like Mike was saying, I bought it from a fellow in northern Minnesota. His name is also Mike. But he had this car for many, many years. He heard about it through a friend. He bought it in 1979 from a Hollywood warehouse called Movie World, as Mike was telling you. He heard it was for sale, and he called them, and they said, yeah, it's for sale. And so Iron Mike hitched up his trailer and he headed for California, and he got there and they said, yeah, we changed our mind, it's not for sale. And he's like, you can't do that. Anyway, they argued about it and negotiated, and eventually he bought the car. And they were going to sell it for like $200. He ended up paying $1,200. So,
okay.
But he got the car, and I have pictures of it sitting in that Hollywood warehouse. Mike took them and he passed them along to me, so you can see it kind of broken down. Now, the Chrysler 300 Club International keeps all the records on all these 300 letter cars, and they have all the factory records of what each car by serial number was built for and who it was sold to and what dealership it went to. So all that information is available. So I wrote to him and asked him to look up this car and give me whatever info they have, and so I got the name of the original dealer that it went to, and that was this Movie World outfit. And it was listed, interestingly enough, by Chrysler as a pool car. And so we were all trying to figure out what would that mean, sold to Hollywood as a pool car. And we can only think that Chrysler had to classify it somehow, and I just am theorizing here a little bit that when Chrysler had a Chrysler executive that wanted a personal car to drive around in, or they sold it to some company other than a Chrysler dealer, or like that, then they would designate it as a pool car, I think. And that
makes sense to me.
That's how it got that kind of designation. So that's how it was listed in their records. So this company, this Hollywood warehouse, so they bought it with the intention of using it in some movies if they wanted to. As it turned out, they never ever used it in any movies. All it ever did was just sit. So thus, it never got many miles, and it didn't get any rust, and it was California, and they sold it in '79 to Mike Meyer of northern Minnesota, Iron Mike. And he picked it up and brought it home, and he was going to restore it, and he started taking it apart and getting some of the panels acid dipped, and because they were just showing wear from just sitting in a warehouse and where nobody cared about it, and it got knocked around. But then he got started, and then he never finished, and it went into his garage, and there it sat, and it just sat, and he just piled stuff. I have pictures of it sitting in his garage with just junk piled in it and on it, on the hood and on the trunk, and all these things just accumulate parts and pieces and stuff. And so I started bugging him to sell it to me, and I bugged him for a couple of years. He's like, no, I'm not ready to sell it. I'm going to restore it. Like that. And finally, one day, I heard a rumor that he was selling it. He didn't contact me, and I thought, really? So I called him, and I said, hey, would you be willing to sell it to me? or am I blacklisted somehow? He goes, no, I'd absolutely sell it to you. So we worked out a little deal, and I bought it from him, and Rusty Mike went up there, and they pulled it out of his garage, which is a pretty much all day long task.
Well, I'm
it
sure
was
with
buried,
all the parts and pieces,
it was
buried.
In parts and pieces and other parts cars in front of it and all this stuff. But they got it out of there and put it on a trailer, and Mike brought it home, and away he went. And a short 2 years later, it is done. And yeah.
What a fantastic job he did on it.
Oh yeah, he's an amazing young fellow.
Little bit of a wizard.
He's
Hold
a
on to
bit of a
that, Mike.
wizard.
He just called you young.
He is.
Enjoy that.
Compared to me, he's young.
Everybody's young compared to you.
Dirt is young.
Dirt is young. That's a great story.
Hollywood
You know,
movie car that never made it into the movies. Isn't that neat?
well, Randy, thank you again so much for, we've had a great day out here, getting to ride in your cars, experience that ride, those beautiful engines, that exhaust sound. Thank you so much for sharing your cars and for sharing this one with us.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun for me, and I want to give my thanks out to Rusty Mike for restoring it. He is quite a guy, and we are good friends, and it makes a good life.
Thanks for watching.